Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Howdy, 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 and welcome to the Elite Euro Road Series. It's shake and bake racing time here at Brands Hatch. I'm Austin. I'm joined by Tim Cox with John Robinson in the production booth. You're here live watching Apex Racing TV. Tim, we're here at Brands Hatch. Last time we were on Apex Racing TV for this series, we were at Sonoma. Last round, though, we stayed in the wonderful UK. We were at Oulton Park. The win going to Spencer Clark. Let's see if they can continue this UK dominance right here. But qualifying just finished up right now. And how are we feeling about today?
A tricky one. Always the incident field is Brands Hatch, especially the back end of this course from Hawthorne Bend all the way through to Stirling's British Touring Cars. They were here at the weekend. It rained. We don't have to worry about that in iRacing as we don't quite have rain yet. But yeah, it's going to be action-packed. GT3s, what's not to love?
It's all over here right now. Not our biggest grid so far throughout the season. Only 11 cars showing up. I know a lot of drivers are focusing on the Indy 500 fix split. The last chance for that split was going on just right now, so few drivers not being able to make it right there and focusing on that over the weekend. But of the drivers we got here, it's Brody Gunther starting up on pole for today. We got Jose Zanella right beside him with Charlie McCarty, Spencer Clark, John Hoyos, Nathan Tetzlaff, Mark Bush, James Marr, David Shaviv, Casey Waters, and Andreas Hoyos. Your championship leader at the back of the grid. Actually, your championship 1-2 is at the back of the field right now. So the pace car is pulling off into the pit lane. A very short pace lap right here as all the drivers are getting ready to rock and roll and shake and bake here at Brands Hatch as we are green. Brody Gunther takes the lead right now, followed by Jose Zanella and Charlie McCarty, your top three, all the filing in right there, heading down at turn one. And everybody just making sure everybody else has a little bit of room, a little passing happening on the midfield right there, side by side. One of the Mercedes cars going pretty slowly. That is Davis, actually. He's dropped off to the back with James Marr. Andreas Hoyos already jumping up 4 spots in that quick as lightning Audi. Getting on to the back of Spencer Clark right now, going side by side, looking down to the inside. Pretty fast corner right now, and locked up the brakes, and double overtake heading into there. Oh, Andreas Hoyos, what a move. Double overtake headed down that long straightaway. We got a little axe Little action right now. Second place in the championship. Casey Waters kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place as they tried to navigate this tight course in that train of Audis.
Audi, definitely the popular choice for this round. Brad's, that's the Ferrari off.
Yeah, that's Clark. Spencer Clark is around.
So Westfield Bend, that one, Austin, and yeah, of course, drivers have the opportunity to choose which car they fancy for the race, and they are clearly the car of choice here. We've got one Porsche, McCarthy, two Ferraris. I've just seen one of them, Clark, and our race leader at the moment, Gunter. And then we've got the lone Mercedes of Davis Shively as well, with everyone else opting for the Audi R8.
Yeah, Clark was our last race winner at Alton Park. Well, they had a great race there. They're not going to be able to stay, well, with the double win. Nobody's ever got 2 wins in a row so far in the Shake and Bake Racing Elite Euro Road Racing Series Season 8. The only driver that has won 2 races is Andreas Hoyos at Phillip Island and Barcelona. And they are leading the championship. Spencer Clark currently sitting in 3rd of the championship, but that will really throw them down right now. But we got a really tight fight right now. Look at Nathan Tetzlaff chasing down John Hoyos and holding off Casey Waters right there. That's a big company. Waters looking down to the inside. Not going to be able to make that move work. Getting a little bit wide. That's going to be bleeding off a lot of speed for Casey. Casey looking down to the inside right now. Side by side. This is such a tight corner to fit 2 cars through. Went onto the brakes a little bit early, and that's forced Tetzlaff to go a bit wide. Waters go around the outside, and Waters, the championship contender, is around. Casey Waters is around.
Big
championship defender, 2nd of the championship. Casey Waters is around.
Big incident down at Sterling's corner there, Austin. The way that those Audis were squabbling there over track position as they came through Sheens, as you said, quite rightly, it is incredibly tight and tough to go too wide through there. They just about made it, despite a few of them being on the grass. They all held it together, but, well, that's where they ended up coming together into Sterling's, that big braking area where get it wrong, then you just purchase a one-way ticket to the barrier or spinning around, and that's exactly was brush. Well, having a bit of a brush of the grass there, and that's what unlock up, and that's what's caused him to lose all that time, and now he's got Shively and Marr right on his tail.
Yeah, Davis Shively, who dropped all the way to the back at the start of the race just to let everybody by, he's moved himself back into 7th place where he qualified. So, we're looking for 6th place right now. Okay, qualified at 9th. And, ooh, that's a look by James Marr right behind him as they race through the dipper in this part of Brands Hatch. And I always got to say, I love Brands Hatch as a circuit. This part of the circuit, though, it doesn't matter how many times I run a lap here, I can never fully understand it. It's just, though, very beautiful to look at and very nice to drive. And that's late on the brakes by Jose Zanella, almost getting it back at Broden Gunther. We almost had a collision for the lead right there between the leading Audi and the leading Ferrari. Well, the Ferrari definitely the leading car, he's in the lead.
The other Ferrari of Clark has got going again, so they are still on the lead lap as well, Austin. So that's good news for Clark, although it's about being 7 places down from where he started, and well, whopping 27 seconds off the back of the pack.
This is Spencer Clark. Clark, he's already got a lot of damage on the front right. You can see the well, yeah, oh, it just got caught in the grass right there. Once you get one of these GT3 cars caught in the grass, these cars are heavy, and they just go straight. Once you know, they lose that contact patch with the tarmac, it's kind of like well, you hopping onto an ice rink and you don't have any skates on. You just go sliding in that direction that you arrived in. And, well, he got caught out in the grass right there. And Spencer Clark, defending race winner at Alton Park, is definitely, it's got a massive uphill battle if he wants to try to retake this. But I would have to say you would have to write the check on him right now. 30 seconds behind Gunther and Zanella. Looking at the Hoyoses right now, Andreas Hoyos leading John Hoyos, championship leader Andreas up 7 spots. Won in Barcelona and finished second in Oulton Park. Looking for a better result right now. If Andreas, though, they miss round 1, they have 0 points at Daytona. So we do have 1 drop week in this series. And if they do have another bad race, they're gonna be in trouble if they want to go for that championship.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an uphill struggle, as you say, if they want to try to achieve that, Austin. And, this is...
We did have an incident that we kind of just, like, brushed over. Zanella has fallen down to 4th place, and now what we were looking at, Andreas Hoyos, and battling with Charlie McCarty, well, this is now the fight from 3rd has gone to the fight for 2nd place now. And Charlie McCarty, really bit off that exit, and it's got a bad exit right there. Let's take a look at what happened to Jose Zanella.
So he's going to just outbrake himself a little bit. No,
That's a snap oversteer right there. And he's contacted the wall. And look, he's got a lot of side damage and damage to the rear wing. That car's going to be draggy. And those Audis, they provide a lot of turn-in. You can really get that car rotated under you, get that opportunity to go. As while we were looking at that replay, Andreas Hoyos able to jump up into 2nd place, up 9 spots right now.
What a start. We're only 7 minutes in out of 45. It could pay for a much better start. Now begins the mammoth task of chasing down Gunther. Oh, that's Waters.
Defending champion having another issue. And that looks like it's heading out of turn 1. Is this an Audi snap oversteer?
Let's find out.
No, it's just oversteer.
This is the trouble with the Audi, Austin. It is one of the fastest cars. However, it is
as unpredictable as you know. I'm gonna leave you with this one.
It's about as unpredictable as I can only think of something that's really predictable. Apologies. It'll come to me. I'll come back to you. Something that's really unpredictable. Picking the lottery results. There you go.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Arsenal having a winning season.
Well, my team Manchester United definitely. That's definitely not going to happen for us. We're in the reverse, but we're just on board with Tetzlov right now as we head down through Pedal Kilbend, up Pilgrim's Rise and into Druids. Tight right hand. It seems to go on forever. You have to be incredibly patient on it.
No matter what you're racing. No matter what you're racing here. I remember Brands Hatch. I do a lot of rallycross racing. Whenever rallycross, John can back me up here. Whenever you head to rallycross Brands Hatch, that corner does seem like it goes on forever. You're just turning right, sometimes turning left, mainly turning left at times. Through that corner, and Zanella, big crash into the wall, and Hoyos was involved. John Hoyos and Jose Zanella get involved to a big crash at the front of that. Number 3 Audi is destroyed. Is this, well, it's not another, he's trying to cut the grass right there and close down the course. But unfortunately, I think he accelerated there, and John is trying to shoot the gap right there. Unfortunately, he just made it. He wasn't as close as Indiana Jones was, and he was collected right there just a little bit. So Hoyos having a big rough of a time. There's Hoyos right again, and that damage, he's definitely got suspension damage from what happened between him and Zanella. And what is going on right here? Zanella is on the back of these two, and he's making a moves right now. Zanella to the inside of Mar. And he's chasing down Shipley. Hoyos up off the track ahead, trying to get into the pit lane. Gets on track right ahead of it. Almost crosses over into Zanella. And Zanella carries on with that damaged Audi.
It's all happening here, Austin. It's just coming up to a quarter of the way through the race. And, wow, I mean, Zanella, despite having a incredibly bent rear wing, aside of all the other body damage that Audi R8 V10 GT3 has, he is really, really pushing on and finding some great pace right now as well, despite being hampered by that damage. But we've got cars tripping up over one another, left, right, and centre at the moment. Despite the small grid, we're definitely action-packed here. Hoyos, he's just heading out of the pits. Let's have a look. So he's just still on the lead lap. Gunter isn't far behind him though, so I'd imagine he's going to fall off the said lead lap incredibly quickly as the leader comes through and makes the pass. Undoubtedly, yeah, they're right onto one another. Now, actually, the pass has been made, so Royce has now fallen a lap down in 11th place.
Yeah, we're going to get a replay of on board of John Hoyos as he was coming up on Zanella. So Zanella's, yeah, he's just lost it right now, and Hoyos sees it, and he doesn't know where he's going to end up, and he just doesn't lock down the car, tries to shoot the gap right there. Unfortunately, because Zanella didn't lock up the brakes, didn't stay on the brakes, rolled into John Hoyos, and Hoyos, really, he must have rolled snake eyes when he woke up this morning, because that was so unlucky. Here's Casey Waters looking onto the inside at David Shipley, laid onto the brakes and nails it right down to the inside, riding up onto that curbs. Beautiful move by Casey Waters, trying to gain some more spots on and more points to stay within contention on Andreas Hoyos, who is our championship leader, sitting in second place and is currently our biggest mover, up 9 spots. Top 2 did start in the very back row today. They didn't have the greatest qualifyings. I believe they, on all of their laps, they invalidated. Actually, they did invalidate all their laps, so they started from the back. And, well, this is a last of first run for these two as they're trying to, well, continue with their run.
Well, I tell you what, Hoyos, Hoyos, in second place right now. Despite setting his new personal best lap on the last lap at 1:23 dead, Brody Gunter in the Ferrari is still pulling away from him. An astounding performance from the lead Ferrari of the two in the field.
Well, that's...
Clark the other one in 10th place.
I'm not surprised. That Ferrari is very stable compared to the Audi. The Audi, you're going to be constantly managing it throughout there and try to keep the back end checked down. That Ferrari, though, compared to the Audis, he's very predictable on what it's going to do. As, well, somebody had a party in a turn 1 kitty litter. I'm not sure if you caught that, but it looked like somebody was doing donuts over there. Well, we definitely saw the tracks of somebody doing donuts in the turn 1 sandbar. But yeah, that Ferrari, I think the reason why he's pulling away from Andreas Hoyos, Hoyos is just trying to keep the back end of that car under control. And Brody Gunther, we saw him win at Sonoma. He's in a very uncharacteristic win for him. They've been having a pretty middle of the pack season, and they can keep this up. This will be a second win for them and a lot more points to their repertoire, and will probably advance them to 3rd in the championship.
Really, really strong results. We're just watching Mark right now trying to chase down Chevrolet Audi versus Mercedes here, and things are just heading through there. There was a site last season of a big accident in British GTs. It's the GT3 series here in the UK, where McLaren, which is a car we don't have in iRacing right now, the 720S. As we have its predecessor.
We have the 540.
We do. It's well, you do as well. Though have that in, obviously in the GT4. So, but yeah, a big shunt where they went 3 wide. It got those pits in the middle and ended up literally over the wall. It was a massive incident, and luckily no one hurt. And yeah, it just goes to show this, that one little momentary lapse, and it can really bite you here at Brands Hatch. Now, a bit of an interesting fact, this says they head off the Indy circuit and now onto the Grand Prix section. This section they're heading out now was originally built to help get planning permission through from the local government. They utilised the track layout for the Grand Prix on a oh wow, Zanella having a big moment there.
That's a shame, a disaster right there. He couldn't get any closer if you had a premier German Razor. Honestly, that was really close to disaster, and he's still dipping a wheel in the grass. And in these rear-wheel drive cars, you dip the wheel in the grass and you throttle up, oh boy, you're going to have a wild time behind that wheel. I drive a lot of touring cars. You dip a wheel into the grass right there, you're kind of safe. You'll understeer a little bit, but you'll be able to keep your time. And I got to say, if you're kind of getting into road racing, sports car racing, highly suggest y'all try out the TCRs. Very biased, I must say. But, you know, it's a very good introduction to touring car racing. GT car racing, sports car racing, four-wheel tin top racing.
So we've come down a few levels there as Mars still chasing down Chevrolet. That gap is dropping down, but in the Grand Prix section of the circuit was based on a old track that was originally there that was used for rallycross, and that's how they were able to get the planning permission through with the local government to extend it from the old Indy circuit all the way out to include this new Grand Prix section. It's just heading down through Pilgrim's Drop up into Hawthorne Bend. Wow, that was brave.
That's a beauty by David Shively right there. Around the outside, that Audi is very damaged, and he's able to keep it in there. Zanella, well, even with that damaged front nose, really able to keep it in. And we're starting to close in on our first round of pit stops very soon. As here's Zanella on the back end of that Mercedes. They're all bunched up behind Davis right now, all fighting over each other. Who's going to go launching when right now? Who's going to dive into the pit lane? Neither of these drivers take to the pits right now. I can tell you, if I was James Marr at the very back end of this group, because John Hoyles is a lap down. Oh, there goes James Marr down to the inside. John Hoyles right there. I might go for an undercut, headed to the pits pretty early, and you know, let these two hold each other up, get a better few out laps before they head into their in lap, and surprise them when they come out of the pits and you're ahead of them.
Exactly, Austin. That fresh air can be so crucial, and you won't even be experiencing any understeer, aero wash at all, which will help to preserve your tyres as well as going faster. And I gotta say, I gotta really hand it to Zanella, because despite that Audi being incredibly bruised and battered, he's hanging. Oh no! As the commentator strikes into the wall.
And well, that's immediate out. Did he get transported to the shadow realm right there? Zanella. Third, I would say that would be the third big incident for Jose Zanella today. They've been having a pretty bad day. Their car is beaten and battered and bruised right there. But Zanella, it teleported into the pit lane after a massive crash into the wall here with 20 minutes into the Shake and Bake Elite Euro Racing Series. Elite Euro is a family-owned auto repair shop in Florence, South Carolina. Josh and Crystal Skipper pride themselves on careful, attentive work that they bring to the European and American vehicles. In addition to their wealth of experience working on foreign exotic cars, they also specialize in world record loud car audio. For more information, check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/Elite Euro. Or call 843-407-4958. Once again, that's 843-407-4958. Elite Euro.
Now, Austin, on Zanella, I believe he's been disqualified, because the incident limit is only 15 here in this championship. Now, obviously, for each of those contacts that he's had, he's going to pick up 4x. Well, it doesn't take long to accumulate. As you said, oh, the Mercedes on the grass. He's lawn mowing.
He saved it though, and he's side by side with Clark. And in front of the bar, caught a little bit of the grass and shot across the track and into the wall. James Marr, big crash. Well, if that was a disqualification for Jose Zanella, I think we might need to pour one out for the boys.
I've already got mine open, Austin. It's, wow. definitely not Zanella's day, which is such a shame. He had such raw pace despite all that damage to his car, but he is out, and all that's going on. Andreas Hoyos setting new fastest lap of the race on 22.47. Austin going 300ths of a second quicker than the previous best, which was by Brody Gunter, our current race leader.
Yeah, Gunther looking for his second win. We're halfway through the season right now. Last race was a shock victory at Ulta Park from Spencer Clark, who we saw had an earlier incident in 8th place. He was in 5th in the standings, and that pushed him up into 3rd. The halfway point, we do have a drop score. And we do have some drivers in danger who are already in the top 5 from having a 0-point race. So they're not going to count that 0 points, but if they have another bad race, if they have another 0 points, or they just have a really bad race, that bad race will not count. So we got a really good fight right now. Shively and Clark side by side. Charlie McCarty and Andreas Hoyos are those two drivers. So any mistakes that they have will be very punishing. And, well, McCarty and Hoyos are sitting 2nd and 3rd right now, so they're keeping true to their form and being fairly consistent. As Clark in that Ferrari is staying behind that Mercedes right now. That Mercedes getting pretty wide. Here comes Clark. Clark looking down to the inside, really sending one down to the inside right now. This stays close to that curve. Clark's made the move, but here comes that Mercedes off the exit right now. And here's the Mercedes of Shively, retaking that position. Beautiful fight, beautiful switchback of moves between these two.
Spectacular.
Oh no, and I spoke too soon. Shively gone wide, went deep onto the brakes, trying to carry a lot of speed right there, and goes off the track, took out a few cones, but doesn't make contact with the wall. Shively falls to 8th, Clark up into 7th.
Just to update you a bit more on Jose Zanella, Austin. So he's been having hardware issues with his wheel, hence why we've seen some moments onto the grass, even on parts of the circuit which you wouldn't expect to see people head off. So that's definitely been contributing to a contributing factor to why he's been experiencing so many issues out there on track today. A real round to forget for Zanella, but wow. There's Gunter lapping another car. That's David Shipley just going past the Mercedes. This now means he's lapped up to and including 8th place as our leader.
Yeah, Gunther losing time to Andreas Hoyos. Hoyos putting in very good lap time, almost a second and a half. Not a second and a half, about 8/10 faster than Brody Gunther that time. But oh, off! Who was that behind him? That was Shipley in the Mercedes. So Brody Gunther lapping the Mercedes. The Mercedes getting loose on the brakes. And, well, that's helped out Brody Gunther right there, as Andreas Hoyos was almost collected by him.
Also, that means that Ma has now come right back into the fight with Shively in that battle for 8th place. There they are, the Audi tucked up right behind that Mercedes as they race down through Pilgrim's Drop. We've seen many incidents through this next section, from Hawthorne Bend all the way through to Sterling's already so far this race. We're about to see yet another one here at Brands Hatch, but I think they're going to make this through all okay. And that gap just stabilising them in around about 4/10. Well, in fact, actually, Shively really dominant through that little section there, through Dingledell and into Sterling's, pulling out an extra 3 or 4 tenths over Ma. And you can see where the Mercedes is definitely appearing to be a bit stronger.
Yeah, coming out of the corners, that Mercedes is very planted. It doesn't have to worry about the rear end of his car getting stepped out, while most of these drivers are running Audis for some reason today. I'm not sure why most of the drivers picked the Audi, as we've seen them in different cars in earlier rounds. I believe everyone just felt the Audi was the right choice, as we see Charlie McCarty be the first one to head into the pit lane and to go for that pit stop. Going to be filling up the car with some nice fuel right now. And around is Casey Waters Waters second in the championship, and it looks like he's had more than just a spin. He's made contact with, that's Brush, Mark Brush and Casey Waters making contact with each other. The two Audi cars making contact. Casey Waters second in the championship, and this is what happened between them. Here's Mark Brush, Casey Waters right behind him. I think Brush might have just got into the grass, spun around, hit the wall, and hit. Ooh. Well, that's some massive netcode damage right there. I think Waters might have gotten netcoded turned around right there. He went into the grass, and then the grass collected him. So big contact for both these drivers. They both head into the pit lane. They're both going to get the cars fast repaired right now as everybody hops into the pit lane. Championship leader Andreas Hoyos into the pits right now. And Gunther stays another lap as well. Gunther been very consistently setting down good lap times right now, as everything around him is kind of falling apart, which is good for Brody Gunther, looking for his second win so far. We saw his first one at Sonoma here on Apex Racing TV. Was very surprised at that result, he said. And this result right now, I'm looking at the championship, and the championship table will put him at least into third place, maybe into second place in the championship.
It's definitely going to be a big haul of points for Gunther here at Brands Hatch.
If he keeps his position.
Well, yes. Don't want to put a commentator on him at all. Mara and Shively, they're still quite close together. That gap actually was just coming down. It was about 0.4 of a second. It dropped to a couple of attempts, but this is all about now Gunther just bringing it home. Doesn't need to push too hard. All the onus is on Hoyos, because Gunther has got that nice, comfortable gap as he just about holds on to it there, Austin. That could have been an absolute disaster for him.
Yeah, it could have been an absolute disaster. Drivers who went into the pits have come out of the pits right now. Hoyos still in second place after that pit stop right there. Nathan Tetzloff up into third, has not gone into the pits, but they have split Charlie McCarty as Shively and Marr headed to the pits now. And this is kind of showing the different fuel consumption by the Ferrari compared to the Audis and stuff, because that Ferrari very good on fuel, unless Brody Gunther going wide. Did he miss the pit entry? Does he have enough fuel to make it around the track?
We're about to find out, Austin.
And this is me creating fake tension. I know he probably definitely has enough fuel. But I have done that by accident before, so I'm talking from experience here, unfortunately.
Yes, I think we've all been there, done that, got the t-shirt at some point during our sim racing careers.
I ran out of fuel on the last lap.
There's trouble with time races because you're not set to a number of laps, and it's all pending on when the leader crosses the start-finish line. But he is in.
And he gets that slowdown right to the pit speed limit. Turns on that pit speed limiter, and our leader is in the pits. 37 seconds ahead of Andreas Hoyos right there. So we get that Ferrari stopped, and we're getting that fuel run. Here's Andreas Hoyos really throwing that Audi through the car. Corner through Sterling's right there. We go underneath the bridge and out of the pits. Brody Gunther, very fast and efficient pit stop right there. Only 13 seconds in the box.
Now, he did run 2 extra laps longer compared to Hoyos, but even so, he was stationary for 4 seconds less, Austin. Now, that's a big old difference. And
Hoyos did have damage, remember that.
He did, yes. So that would have played a little bit part to it. We've just got Tetzloff. He is into the pits. He was the last driver yet to take a pit stop, so he's going to get demoted. McCarthy heading back up into the podium possessions. But, well, even if you allow for that 4-second difference, Austin, Gunther has definitely pulled out some extra time over Hoyos.
Yeah, Brody Gunther really nailed that pit stop down. He's probably... he probably has a fuel calculator looking at it, and he just had that absolutely down to a T right there. As we have an overtake down on the field, 4th and 5th place, Clark and Tetzloff. overtaking each other. Tetzloff was just coming out of the pits and was overtaken by Spencer Clark. And Spencer Clark, for having an incident, I kind of rode him away from from a win today. Clark is up in a 4th now.
Let's not forget
30 seconds off the back, off
Yes.
last place, in 10th, in 11th place. He was 30 seconds off of whoever was in 10th. He's brought himself into 4th place legitimately after all the pit stops. But he did go into the pits on lap 1. He still needs to make his pit stop. So, we're going to be seeing where exactly he is right now, but we do have one driver currently retired. That is Jose Zanella, after being disqualified from the session.
Well, it's such a shame because he had such raw pace here. Austin, a little bit of trivia. Brands Hatch trivia for you. Do you know what the first ever race here was?
On the circuit or the rallycross circuit?
Oh, just the circuit in general.
Ooh. Circuit in general. Here. It wasn't a car race.
Correct. You were spot on. Absolutely spot on.
It was...
I can hear him Googling profusely right now.
No. I'll turn on my camera. My finger is in the air. It was a bike race, not a motorbike race. A pedal bike race, right?
I think I might have already told you the story before. Yes, pretty much there. It was cyclists versus cross-country runners. And amazingly, the cross-country runners won.
Hey. Well, score 1 up for the two-legged people.
It was they were helped massively because they had the Australian world champion for cross-country running within their ranks, and that did play quite a bit of give them quite a bit of a helping hand. But even so, I mean, you can't really knock them for it.
Yeah, I can understand where the cyclists were having a little bit of trouble with the uphill and the very hilly natures. Cross-country runner, I've done a bit of cross-country in my time in high school. You do go up and down the hills, but you don't waste a lot of energy. And the up and down nature of this circuit, I would say, would be a
Austin,
Nathan, that is not the right way in or out of the pit lane.
He's lost it on the exit out of the final corner.
Drove it into the pit lane and then drove it backwards out of pit lane.
I'm wondering whether he's caught.
Well, he's going to get a stop and go penalty for this one.
Let's take a look at the replay. So
that is peculiar.
I think he's caught the gravel on the exit of Clark Curve here, and that's sent him spinning. There you go.
Grass, swoop, and locked it up into the pits. Oh, that would be an unsafe pit entry. He's stuck in the wall.
I think
this is a unsafe pit entry right now, and then he's drove it backwards. He's found the gap right there, and then he's drove it back onto the circuit. Would iRacing give him a penalty for a unsafe pit entry?
I think due to the pit limits here.
Well, he didn't cross the pit, and he didn't cross the pit entry line. He just went into the pit entry area.
And that's what triggers it here at Brands Hatch. A similar story to Okayama as well in Japan, where you've got the pit entry much earlier on than what you'd probably think it should be. It's before the final corner, and I get the feeling that Tetzloff could well have picked up a penalty for that one.
Well, he's definitely lost a lot of time no matter what, and ahead of him, McCarty had a big off track, as I believe this is the replay of that incident, and it is the only portion in the field driven by Charlie McCarty. McCarty in danger zone did have a 0.0 finish earlier on the season. That is just getting caught in the gravel. Car snap oversteer into the wall. Looks all right though, but Charlie McCarty still sitting in third, but going to be heavily damaged from that.
I'm wondering what might have happened to his steering, whether he might have a bent steering column, Austin, which is really going to hamper him, especially with that Porsche, with all the weight in the rear of the car. As much as Porsche engineers over the years have managed to engineer it into a mighty fine handling sports car, even so, it could prove to be treacherous for our third place driver. Let's not forget, Clark's only 6 seconds down the road now, as much as he will need to stop again.
Still maybe goes to the pits. Put in the best lap time, though. Personal best right there, last lap.
Which would be about right, because he's going to have all the fuel, burning off. He'll be running at its lowest possible level right now. As we just see our leader, Brody Gunther.
6th place is having a close fight. That's Casey Waters catching up to Tetzloff heading into turn 1. Right ahead of our leader, Brody Gunther. Waters looking down to the inside, heading into turn 1. Goes deep onto the brakes, and they make contact at the turn 2.
Wow, that was...
it was a daring dive,
it was.
I would say.
It was.
He could have held down to the inside, but he was very late onto the brakes. The momentum carried that Audi through there, and they did make a little bit of rubbing right there. And I know a few of our American viewers will say rubbing is racing. In the sports car road racing sense, not so much, especially in the GT3s and higher categories. In TCRs, it's elbows out and pretty much looks like a barroom brawl all the time. And you know, this is not touring car racing. These cars are kind of fragile at times.
It's more than that, to be fair, Austin, with touring cars. The Albis aren't out. They're sharpened as well as being out. That's Shively in the... I think he suffered from exactly the same issue.
Caught the grass. I see that. I saw the skid marks. Yeah, it was coming from the grass right there. $5 says he got it caught in the grass.
Well, I would take you up on that bet, but we all know that.
Yep.
Big switch beforehand. Now, one of the issues with the Mercedes is that you need to keep a little bit of throttle in through the corner, even when you're slowing the car down, because otherwise the diff locks up on you and the car snaps. And I think that could well be why you saw that initial wiggle there from Shively. And, well, as we've just seen, that took him off. Clipped towards the grass, which triggered off him spinning around towards the pit entry. But I'm just trying to spot who that is behind him. That's Waters behind him. So
that would be Casey.
Yeah, it's not going to be for
it's
lost
not
plate.
for position. This would be a blue flag. Almost contact between the two, right there. And well, there's Nathan right behind us. Shively, and Nathan being he's got to check up mid corner right there. He's going to be throwing his hands up in the air. But I was like, come on, dude. But Nathan also has blue flag because right behind him in that Ferrari is Brody Gunther. Gunther's off the track. He's in the grass. He saved it, though. And that is good for him. But Hoyos has had an incident. Andreas Hoyos is slow.
It's all happening here in the final.
And around is Shively again and Sterling's. Where's Hoyos? Where's Hoyos? Hoyos is coming into this corner right now. Here's what happened to Andreas Hoyos. Into this tricky flying right-hander. You got to really attack that curve. Backhand catches him out. And the Carter drifts wide and catches it.
That's Tetzloff having another off there at Druids. Incredibly slowly. So he was starting to catch up onto the back of Waters, but that gap is really extending out. So you see the replay now. And Gunter's got a massive advantage, Austin. He didn't need to be pushing like that, as there goes Shively around. Lights up the rears a bit and gets the car going again.
Yeah, you're right. Gunther doesn't need to be pushing a lot. He just gained a truckload of time. He's now 15 seconds ahead of Hoyos. If you're looking at your standings, or if you have a calculator with you, or any timing tower software, you'll see that gap. There's only 5 minutes left in this race, And if you're a Gunther, you'll be saying that and be like, okay, I can take a breather. I can lose a second or two a lap to Andreas Hoyos. Hoyos, the youngest driver in the series. And, you know, we know he's quick. He's really quick. Championship leader. And, you know, they've got the pace. But Brody Gunther, very consistent. And that's going to be Gunther's strong suit here. As Andreas Hoyos, with invalidating each lap. If he didn't invalidate each qualifying lap, that's James Marr turned around right at the exit of that corner. Taking a very wide exit. There is the Porsche of Charlie McCarty. There is Clark right there. Clark's still not gone to the pits yet. Can he make it to the end of this race?
It's going to be within a shout, to be fair, Austin. Because looking at it, I mean, he's carrying good pace.
4 minutes.
You'd expect
3.5 minutes. So that's going to be about 2 to 3 laps left in this race, depending on Gunther.
Well, Gunther's about 3/4 of the way around the lap, Austin. So I think
so
this
3
is going to be
laps.
3. Yeah, it's going to be 3 laps surely. This one, based on the
Gunther
time on
has
the left.
a issue. We never
Wow.
want Gunther to have an issue, but Spencer
Never
Clark
seen
might be
it
saying, I would like this to be 2 laps. I'm looking at my fuel gauge. Might be tapping the light just a little bit, making sure it is accurate. But this would be a heck of a recovery drive for Spencer Clark if he's able to make up this gap, because he was in the pit stops and fully fueled up on lap 1 after that issue. So Spencer Clark could have this, and he could have 3rd place as McCarty is off ahead of it into the inside while Clark is in 3rd.
Wow, drama right to the very end here at Brands Hatch, and with 2 minutes 30 left on the clock, you get the feeling it might not just be done here. Shively, he's into the pits as we get a replay, and this is what happened to McCarty. So on the run down through, I'm just trying to switch what that's through Sheens, isn't it? No,
it's
apologies,
like
just 4.
just like the Audis.
Dingledale, yeah.
Yeah, the back end, mind of its own at times.
I mean, let's not forget, McCarty did have that crash, the front end crash with the wall earlier on, so I do have to wonder whether he had steering damage from that. And that's what's causing some of his issues, as we see Shively right now.
No, this is going to be running wide into the grass, and he's going to get hit to the wall. Yep. Whoa, disqualified. That was immediate snap right there, even before he hit the wall.
I'm not even sure, because Shively's
He's still
to myself, he's still here and still going. So
did he blink? Did he blink before he hit the wall? He thought that was it.
I think
he's still driving around.
Yeah,
there he is. Oh, he's got a faster pair. That's what happened.
Being utilised just at the right moment, to be fair, as well, to keep himself in the fight.
1 minute to go here at Brands Hatch. 1.5 laps, I would say, for Spencer Clark right now. Does that Ferrari have enough fuel in the car? Does he carry it around this course? He's got 40 seconds left, and I'm expecting him to be lifting and coasting just a little bit because he went into the pits on lap 1. Can Clark make this car fit right there? As Brody Gunther, oh, this is not what you want to happen. He's blinking in and out and in and out. With 20 seconds to go for Gunther, you see his time tower constantly just graying out. We can't really keep our cameras on him. 15 seconds. Can he keep the connection with iRacing stable right now? 10 seconds remaining for Gunther. Oh, is he going to just try to go as slow as he can to get the checker flag? No, he's going to go for another lap. But white flag is in the air with 1 second to go. Clark. Oh, if you're Spencer Clark, you're cursing yourself because white flag, 1 lap to go for Brody Gunther. Now does Clark have another lap of fuel left?
Austin, Gunther had a 13-second advantage over Hoyos. He could have slowed right down let the clock tick over, and then cross the line. He had a
Look at Clark.
massive buffer to do so.
I want to interrupt you because Clark, this is a story I really want to follow. Clark is slowing down. Look behind him. That's McCarty chasing him down. Clark, he has to have one more lap of fuel or else he's going to need to pit because they were millimeters away right there, and you can see him just using all the track, trying to keep the momentum up. He sees the white flag. Does he have one more lap of fuel? Can he make a spectacular last third finish right here? New personal best lap by McCarty right behind. 1.6 seconds separates McCarty in the podium. And Clark from a astounding, wonderful comeback story right there, up into third place after being last. But one driver takes his second win of the season. First one came at Sonoma. Next one comes here at Brands Hatch. Brody Gunther takes another win and becomes the second driver in the series to win, as on our championship leader Andreas Hoyos comes home in second place.
Wow, a sterling drive from Gunter, but how is Clark getting on? Wow.
McCarty's made a small mistake. He had a big bobble, lost 2/10 right there. McCarty, he's got to really, really push it right here. Clark is losing a lot of time on the straights. He's probably kicked it down to a different fuel map because he is so slow. I think the edge is starting to cut out on him. 1.1 seconds to the line. Can McCarty close that gap? Can Clark keep the foot pinned down, keep all the fuel into the fuel tank right now?
He's going to do this, Austin.
Here comes McCarty, but it's going to be too little too late as Spencer Clark gets third place after being lasted in the pits by 40 seconds behind 10th at the end of the first lap. Spencer Clark finishes on the podium by the skin of his teeth, and I really want to know how much fuel he had left in his car. Casey Waters comes home in 5th. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Wow. And also, let's not forget as well, Austin, that he's finished some 40 seconds off the leader. So he's clearly had the pace, and if he hadn't have had that one issue, you've got to think he'd be challenging with the sister Ferrari of Gunter for the victory if he hadn't have fallen right to the back of the grid. But wow, that car must have been on absolute fumes as he came across the line.
He's managed another lap, actually. I don't know what that Ferrari has under its hood, but, you know, actually, I think he might have cut across the Indy circuit to get it back into the pits. And if he's done that, that might disqualify him. But we do have our full results right now. Brody Gunther takes the win ahead of Andreas Hoyos for his second victory of the season, and that's going to promote Gunther from 4th place in the championship to 3rd place at least into the championship. Actually, yeah, to 3rd place in the championship. He might clear Casey Waters and take 2nd place in the championship ahead of Andreas Hoyos. Spencer Clark, who somehow finished 3rd after pitting on lap 1. Charlie McCarty, Casey Waters, Nathan Tetzloff, Mark Brush, John Hoyos, James Marr, Javis Shively, and Jose Zanella. We are joined by our race winner for his 2nd win of the season, ladies and gentlemen, Brody Gunther.
Hey guys, thank you for having me.
Brody, how are you feeling? You took pole, you led, I believe, almost every lap of the race. And that Ferrari just seemed on rails for you today.
Yes, sir, it definitely was. That just like Sonoma, it wasn't an easy win at Sonoma. We obviously had the wreck on lap 1 this race. I ran out of gas on the last corner, but yeah, definitely a very fun race. I enjoyed it.
It definitely looked fun. You've had a lot of the off tracks were a dime a dozen here. How was adapting to the difficult Brands Hatch circuit here today?
Definitely a very challenging track. It's the first time I've actually ran this track, like race-wise. I just bought it this week. I definitely enjoyed it though. Made a couple mistakes though, a couple times. Actually, did drifted on one turn at one point, but I think I definitely liked the track. It was a very fun one, very challenging. I hope everyone else liked it.
Well, it definitely suits you right there. With this win, you jump up into third in the championship, guaranteed. You might be taking second, but you are the only other driver outside of Andreas Hoyos to have 2 wins so far in the season. When next week we head back into the States for Worldwide Technology Raceway. How are you feeling heading into the second half of the season?
Um, Pretty good. I've had some the first half of the season was definitely not the best. Have had a lot of wrecks there, but I'm excited for the oval race next week, since that is what I mostly do. Be excited to see how I compare to everyone else.
I believe it'll be on the road course at
Is it on the road
WWT.
course?
This is the road series, right?
Yeah, I think we do run on one oval race. We did Charlotte last year, or last season.
Well, that's gonna be interesting to watch. I'm excited. Well, before we let you go and get ready for that craziness happening next week, Brody, anybody you want to thank?
Just my mom and dad, and all the other drivers for putting on a good race and racing very clean with each other.
All right, well, they're definitely gonna be proud of you right there. Congrats on the win, Brody. You have yourself a fantastic night. Tim, we're standing by with somebody who was well, as he said, at crossing line had fumes escaping from the tailpipe that he wanted to stay in the car. Spencer Clark.
Wow. Spencer, I think you've got to be myself and Austin's driver of the day. First lap, you end up spinning, at the back of the pack, but not just at the back of the pack. You were some 30, 40 seconds down on everyone else. And to come home with a podium from that position is absolutely inspired.
To be fair, I think there's something to be said for everybody else in front of me not quite making it as far around as Brody did. Again, congrats to Brody. That was a fantastic drive. That's one of the reasons why I love this league so much. We don't have any sort of technical fuel caps or anything like that. So as soon as I spun, I knew my only option was to come in and fix the damage and fill it all the way up. So not only that, I was riding around with a full tank of fuel on a half tank setup. So a little bit scrapey.
Well, I can imagine. So when it came across the line, I mean, we thought you must be running on fumes, but based on what you're saying there, you must have had a fair bit of fuel still left in the tank.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I came by with about 1.5 gallons. I made my pit stop immediately and filled the tank with what I thought would be enough to make it across the line, and did so.
Wow. Absolutely speechless. I mean, obviously going back to, that start and then obviously making way through the field. I mean, did you have, a bit of confidence you might be able to pick up a few places, or do you think that it was just, have a bit of fun out there and see what happens?
I mean, we're always trying to have fun. That's the whole point of us being here for the first part. So, but above all else, I mean, I knew I could probably have the speed to take a couple, 2 or 3 people, but I didn't expect to make it all the way back up to third. No, this is a surprise for me. And my heart really goes out to Charlie. I honestly couldn't have done it without him. He spun right in front of me with like 3 or 4 laps to go.
Yes, it was definitely did help you, but then, like you say, you've got to be there to take these opportunities when they present them to you. Before we let you go, Spencer, anyone you want to give a shout out to at all?
I'm currently sharing my office tonight with my girlfriend, so if you hear smacking noises, that's a fighting game going on right across the room from me. Always want to give a shout out to her. I am also streaming on Twitch tonight at twitch.tv/Anderson, ANDRESEHN. But other than that, I am me, and I race for the Mist Apex Professionals. So.
Great to speak to you, Austin. Sorry, Spencer, and we'll see you next time out.
Cheers, fellas. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much. Wow. Austin, I mean, what a drive from Spencer. Absolutely inspired. I think, I know I mentioned it, but I think surely it has to be our driver of the day here.
It was a drive, as Spencer was saying. He really had to put all of his eggs in one basket. Not making a pun, as his driver profile is a broken egg. He definitely put all of his eggs in one basket after being 40 seconds down on everybody else at the end of our opening laps. And winning last race, we thought this would be the ultimate curse for him, but he brought it back to a podium to, well, have both podiums in the UK rounds here. Last round being Ulta Park. So Spencer Clark, this has gone from a very down day to a very positive day, and I am very happy for him. This was a very nice drive, a very unsuspected drive. Neither of us knew that he was going to be able to do that. He did have 1 gallon of fuel, which probably would translate to about 2 more laps of fuel left. So he just barely escaped by, but we saw him slowing down, just trying to make sure that he had enough to make it to the end. So Spencer Clark, hats off to you. Andreas Hoyos, another 2nd place, and keeping that points alive. Brody Gunther with the win. 2nd win as we head into Worldwide Technology next week. Thank you all for joining us here for the Shake and Bake Elite Euro Road Racing Series for Season 8 here at Brands Hatch. I've been joined by Tim Cox and John Robertson in the production booth. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.